ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.
It's the After the Show podcast, precious.
We don't care, we're about to swear on the air. It's the After the Show, so tune in if you dare. KVJ, get risque every single day. It's uncensored. We can say what we want to say.
Here we go. Welcome to the KVJ After the Show podcast. Jaybird doing the pizza blog did not approve of this list recommended by the Broward Palm Beach New Times of the best 5 pizzerias in Broward and Palm Beach. Just not buying it. Now they have a couple places like Dulce Salato in Wilton Manors. They also have another place in Hollandale Beach, El Tamarindo, they say, on Atlantic Shores is a place to go check out. Some more in Jaybird's neighborhood that they recommend. Christopher's Kitchen, they say, one of the 5 best on PJ Boulevard in Palm Beach Gardens.
They're going to go with a vegan pizza as the top 5 in the area. They got to be out of their fucking mind.
Pizzerias.
Yeah, they're out of their mind. Out of their fucking mind. Vegan.
And why is
Have you had it?
I haven't had it. I haven't. But so what? I don't give a shit.
It looks delicious. They got a picture. I'm like, my goodness. Looks great.
You need to have it before you talk a gang of crap about it.
You need to not correct me in public. So we all got things we need to work on.
They also list Galley, Galley. It looks like it's in the West Palm Beach Hilton.
Delicious.
On Okeechobee Boulevard. You've been there?
I've had their pizza. It is phenomenal.
Out of 5 slices, give it to me.
For me, 5 out of 5.
Is it fancy pizza or could they do it?
Fancy pizza.
Could they do a cheese extra sauce and I'd be happy?
Yeah.
Okay.
They could break it down
I
and
don't
make
get
it basic.
this, like fancy. To me, it's pizza, right?
No.
But it's all about what you put on it and the creative things you do with it and the fun styles. They had this pizza at that Galley place. It was like a Southwestern. And it was so amazing. It had like avocado and roasted corn, and it had this sauce. I mean, it was just amazing. Mm-hmm. It really was incredible.
But if I got cheese pizza at this fancy place, it would taste like a good cheese pizza. It'd knock my dick in the dirt, is what you're telling me.
I don't know. I didn't get the cheese pizza. What I'm telling you is I had their specialty pizzas, and I was super impressed. Innovative, creative, delicious. A Southwestern pizza. I know it's out of your norm, and it's not normally where you go, but for me, I loved it.
Okay. Virginia's agreeing with the list.
I mean,
one agrees, one does not.
Tequesta over here, of course.
And she's had it.
It was fancy, and I've had it.
Yeah.
It was fancy.
I loved it.
And the other place they recommend here for the 5 best in Broward Palm Beach, they've got Grotto in West Palm Beach on Dixie Highway.
Grotto is another amazing place. It's run by the same people who run Bucan on the island.
It's fancy.
It's fancy.
So here's what I'm going to do, because I'm talking a gang of shit. Virginia is right, unfortunately. I have to try all of these pizzas.
Yeah.
I do. I want to try I want to see what all the hype is. And I want to see if this is home cooking.
Go to Christopher's Kitchen, go to Galley, and go to Grotto.
Mm-hmm. I've been told Christopher's Kitchen... They do great vegan food, but it's extraordinarily expensive.
Yeah, you better bring your wallet because it is very pricey.
Christopher's
but
Kitchen pizza price.
It's impeccable.
Yeah, for Grotto, they say try the Bucan mushroom conjured with black truffle, fontina, and oyster mushroom, $20. The buffalo chicken with caramelized onions, Brussels sprouts, and blue cheese, or the meatball made with tomato sauce, fresh mozzarella, and sprinkled with basil. $19 each. That's what we're talking about for a pizza price. So that's Grotto. I know my son Cannon, he likes it. We spent a good bit of time bounced between there because Civil Society, the brewery, they open up their new breweries right behind Grotto.
Okay, so I'm looking at the prices at Christopher's Kitchen for the pizza. It's not too bad. It's $13, $14.
Okay.
It's not bad.
All right. There you go. That's what they're saying. Are they right or way off?
I might go there today. Oh, you know what? I gave you wrong information. They are about $20 per pie. But still, it's a pizza.
Yeah. So that's kind of what you're looking at.
I'm going I'm gonna go today.
All right.
Okay.
I think. Nah, I don't know if I can. Fuck, I'm moving today. It's right.
Yeah. So there you go. You might be able to check that out. Yeah, Kristen in the chat room said Christopher's doesn't use store-bought vegan cheese, which can be garbage. They make their own, and it's great.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
They make their own?
Apparently so.
That's impressive.
That's why they're getting such high marks.
The one pizza place I do keep on hearing, and Zach in the chat room brought it up, there's this gas station in Juneau. Supposedly they make unbelievable pizza. It's at a gas station. I know it sounds gross.
Is it on US 1?
It is, yeah. US 1 in Juneau, by the pier parking lot.
I know exactly where that is.
And I get so many requests for me to go try this pizza out.
There's always a bunch of beachy kids coming in and out of that place.
I gotta try it then.
Okay.
I love it, Kev. The pizza's getting us talking.
Research.
Good suggestions, good stuff. Look at all that stuff that's coming up here.
I also hear really good things about Christopher's Kitchen too, for on the vegan tip, that it tastes very, very good.
Okay.
Yard House does good vegan stuff, or at least Gardein.
Yard House is good. They do a good job.
They do solid, yeah. It's one of my favorite spots. Big fan of...
There's no way I'm not getting pizza today.
No, wait, you're not?
I'm definitely getting pizza. You primed the pump, brother.
You're just too fired up for it, huh?
Oh, yes.
Yeah. Got to make this happen here. Okay. Well, there we go. Another message here. Why? For the other Jay Pennington. So why does V get almost always away with barely paying off the sudden death? She tags most of the fun out of the show's bits. She's a whiny bitch whenever she has to do any of the bits.
Who is this guy?
That's the other Jay Pennington who sends this
whatever.
troll.
That motherfucker whines about everything. All he ever does is email about complaints. If you hate us so much, why are you listening?
Bye, bitch.
Yeah.
Bitch.
Just another Pennington that annoys me.
Let me see. A little follow-up from a couple shows we talked about yesterday on Netflix. I was talking to you about the show. There was a couple that actually dropped. I watched a few over the weekend, and I think the one that these emails are about is the one that was produced. I saw Oprah Winfrey and Robert De Niro both had a hand in it. It was the one about the Harlem Five, a story that had happened from the late 80s. I think I wasn't really like plugged into that, kind of stuff that was going on then. But anyway, the show is When They See Us. Jennifer was kind of jumping on the whole bandwagon here. I'll get to her in just a second. But I thought it was interesting that Kimbre sent in an email, and she said, as a woman of color, I just wanted to point out that the segment you spoke on in reference to When They See Us is not just about the 5 teenage boys getting accused of a crime they did not commit. You see, you forgot to mention that these very young boys who were under the age of 20 were African-American and Hispanic. I'm glad that it shook your cores and opened your eyes a bit. The system that put those innocent boys behind bars is the same system people who are not of color and that are privileged benefit from. Oh, and P.S., you should just Google what the sitting president had to say at the time about these young boys. Yeah, and they show that predominantly in the special. He even went as far as taking out ads in newspapers to call for the death penalty for those boys. You should also research the statistics on the number of black men who are incarcerated. Pretty alarming numbers. My point here is to walk a day in a man of color's shoes in this country is not an easy thing. There's another documentary, 13, that talks a little bit about the incarceration numbers, to take a look at that kind of stuff. So, Nick Kimbre's voice on those.
It's horrible, and it's definitely eye-opening, and these stories do need to be told.
Yeah,
That's got to be so terrible to sit in prison on something you did not do. And then all these people saying all this terrible shit about you.
And you're a kid.
Oh, you're a kid? Mm-hmm. That's
like,
so
what?
fucked.
Yeah, they really do these kind of things, because a lot of times, you don't know. You don't have that perspective if you didn't come from that area. And so I really kind of love some of these shows that they have now because you're like, wow, you're able to see it through somebody else's eyes and kind of get an idea of, what it's really like. And for, those boys, I still had the 4th episode to watch on it. So maybe it'll open my eyes even a little bit more. But just what I had seen so far was just, like I mentioned yesterday, how tough it was not only be wrongly convicted, but you come out and then you're like, I can't, like, what am I going to do? Like, nobody's going to hire me. I can't get anything going on. So then you're just stuck in this world of like, all right, what am I going to do now? Sucks. Jennifer has a couple of her suggestions. She said if you like those kind of things, you have to watch the docu-series about the West Memphis 3. It's an awful story, but it does show how these false confessions happen.
Oh, I wonder if that's the one I saw.
Yeah, if you guys watch the Netflix Making a Murderer, that was like the worst. I was yelling at the TV. If you think about the Innocence Project and how many cases they have, it definitely shows how many innocent people have been convicted of crimes. The IP only takes cases with DNA evidence, so I can only imagine how many more there are. Thanks for the recommendation. Yeah, it's something that really is getting a lot of attention right now, and people are shedding a lot of light onto it and saying, okay, because we do have so many people incarcerated, and they're like, okay, how many people really need to be? You know, some do, some don't.
Yeah, no, I agree with you.
You know, so I think that we're starting to do, and these specials do help. I think people are doing a little bit of a deeper dive and saying, all right, let's take a good look at this.
Expose it.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Kind of like how, you know, I exposed Virginia lying about pink eye. I mean, these documentaries, it shows the truth.
You can't finger this.
I don't want to. Gross. Don't ever say that again.
Okay, let me see here. This is kind of interesting. Mike Tyson is in the news today. He is operating a holistic marijuana company and plans to open up a 420-acre weed resort in the middle of the California desert.
Wow.
You're starting to see a lot of celebrities get in the weed game, I'm noticing.
That's pretty interesting, huh?
Where they're either getting behind something. Who is the one singer that just got his own blunt? I think we might have even talked about it on the show. But I think it's Ray J. Ray J's getting his own.
Ray J's, yeah.
That's right, yeah.
For joints, yeah.
He's getting into the game.
Ray's J's or something like that. He's
Yeah.
calling it Ray J's.
All these celebs are getting in the weed game.
Yeah, well, I mean, it depends upon how it goes, but it looks like right now it could become a massive industry.
Big business.
Based on legalization and what happens with it. Yeah, Mike Tyson, he has his own holistic company. He opened it up in 2016. He sells an array of marijuana merchandise as well as premium marijuana strains, extracts, and edibles. So he is all on it. I think it's Nick Lachey.
Yes.
He's into that
Yes.
stuff. He's behind a group in Ohio that
You're
is
right.
trying to kind of take over the state and get the rights to be able to be the medical marijuana people for the state of Ohio. So it's just kind of crazy.
It's smart if it works out, It's one of those things where it's like, okay, all these people are putting their eggs in this basket.
Weed, people seem to be buying the weed, though.
I know.
Mm-hmm.
Is Ohio going to be next?
Ohio's, I think, already has the medical.
Okay.
Yeah, and then, just the big question is...
Recreational.
Yeah, I think in society we're just starting to realize, hey, there are other things that for our priorities are not right in what we're really concerning ourselves with. And I think the opioid crisis that has struck, so many places, that it's opened your eyes saying, honestly, why are we worried about that? And if we legalize it, could it make this opioid crisis less? And
that's the question. Does it make it less? I think there's potential it could.
Yeah, I think that it probably would. I mean, it's a very complex issue, but I think that it probably would. And, the one thing they talk about is the pain relief. And the thing that's tough about the opioid crisis, not saying it's all of them, but there is definitely a percentage of people who got on legitimate pain pills and then just got hooked. And then it was tougher to get off and, to function. They had to keep taking pain pills, and next thing you know, you kind of become a little bit of a junkie. My wife, Queen, just had some pretty major dental work done, and they gave her pain pills, and she didn't take any of them. She suffered through the pain because she didn't want to deal with it. So,
yeah, no, they can be the devil, absolutely.
Yeah, so I think the more that comes out, and we continue to have problems, and people keep ODing and dying. You'll probably start seeing more and more places allow it for recreational use.
Well, a man can't smoke himself to death. And believe me, many men have tried.
Yeah, he's in the next room. His name is Denny's.
He's just, you wake up real hungry.
Mm-hmm. And another thing they're talking about legalizing, could this be a thing where hoeing around is no longer made illegal? In fact, New York is considering a bill that would legalize sex work in the state. Right now, Nevada is the only state where prostitution is legal.
I do think you're going to see this. They've been talking about this this has been on the books for a couple years now. They've been wanting to do this.
Yeah, I think, we used to have in our society where it was like there was a dictation of morality, and now they're saying, look, as long as you're not hurting anyone else, you're a consenting adult, let people do what they're going to do. And then, if you step out of line and you do the things we're so worried that you're going to do and our society is going to become, then you can crack down and say, no, that's not allowed. But if you want to go someplace and pay someone for a BJ, have at it.
But then you're going to get in situations, okay, let's say prostitution becomes legal. You will get into these legal fights where a guy's going to go, $50. No, I said $75. And the cops are going to have to actually work it out, kind of like when you read from the whacked out news.
Yeah, well, I think probably what will happen is the state will come in and they will probably come up with, guidelines on doing it. Is there will probably be things that happen that, step in, and as they try to put some regulation on it, they'll probably try to tax it as well. So if you're paying for a cheap hoe right now, there might be a hoe tax.
You go in there, there's a menu.
That happens.
It's kind of more of a classy establishment. You sit down in a lobby, there's a blowjobs, $45, okay, tax.
Right. And so
with hand, $55.
So they'll probably have standards and probably.
There'll be a menu.
What about two hands? Is that an upcharge?
I mean, a two-handed blowjob's going to probably cost you $75 at minimum.
I mean, the thing that maybe they wind up getting hosed for is some kind of tax evasion or something like that,
Well, that's what they have at that bunny ranch. I mean, they do kind of, in a sense, have a menu where you either order, there's a thing called The Works.
Yeah.
The girlfriend experience.
The girlfriend experience.
Yeah, that's probably what they'll wind up doing.
I think that's their most popular one, the girlfriend experience.
Oh, it sounds amazing.
With two girls, I believe.
Yeah, so, I mean, we'll see. It might get to that point. You want to rub and tug and, Robert Kraft, you don't have to hide it,
It doesn't bother. As long as everyone's in it together and everyone wants to be there, I have no problem with it.
Yeah, I think the only thing that I would say before I would sign off on it, if I were a politician, it were my thing, is I would want to see studies on what it does for sex slave trade. Would it increase? And if that's the thing where by legalizing it now we've got an even bigger problem because they're grabbing people and they're trying to, I would hope that actually it might do the opposite. And if you can go in and raid all these places and say, look, we have to make sure that this person is legit and they got licenses and they're participating at their own free will and not being forced into this.
Right. And that's tricky.
Yeah. Then that would be my only concern before I fully signed off on it. But yeah, aside from that possible caveat, it seems like a good idea. And the thing that surprised me yesterday was I saw that one of the highest growing percentages in the sex slave trade is boys.
Oh.
Yeah, and they say that they use like video games or things like that. So watch, like there was one mom that was talking about it and she saw like a couple of texts that her son was getting from this number, and it was like a topless chick, and she's like, yeah, hey, why don't we meet someplace, blah, 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 and that's what they'll do. They'll use like sports, sex, video games to try to get, boys, anywhere from like the ages of 10 to 16.
It's scary.
And then they'll get them to be like, hey, meet me at the park, blah, blah, blah. And then I'm like, really? Wow. So I never even had thought that was a thing, but they say, yeah, over the last couple of years, it's way up.
There's some really
Crazy
fucked up
world.
people out there, man.
There really are, man.
It is. So, it's something where I have a young boy and I'm not thinking about it too much, but I'm like, put it on my radar.
When they catch these people, I really hope that the people that are doing this kind of stuff really, really get about 5 minutes in the room with a baseball bat.
I
just beat the shit out of them.
I tell you about that one story. I've said it a couple times, but in case someone hasn't heard it, there was that one dad out in Texas. His son was his karate instructor, raped his, I think, 11-year-old kid, and they're bringing him up in the courtroom to go to trial. And the dad's acting like he's on the phone, pulls out a gun, kills the guy, and everyone in Texas goes, the dad was justified. He's good. He doesn't have to go to jail.
Texas got it right.
I mean, the guy...
That's what you do. If you kill the pedophiles Every time. You don't even give them a trial. You just fucking kill them like street justice.
No trial, huh?
No trial.
No trial. Weren't we just talking about innocent people being convicted?
The pedophiles are going down.
If
you know for a fact.
If it's proven for a fact that someone is a pedophile.
No, Virginia says no trial.
Some people do believe it's lights out for you. That's the death penalty. If it's done to a children and you have all this proof.
You don't deserve common justices if you hurt a child. Sorry. You don't deserve the rights that the rest of us do. You're an animal, you're a beast, and you should be killed out back in the yard like a beast.
Yeah, no, it is. It's one of the most heinous things that you see happening in our world, and it is, when you really start looking into it a little bit more, it is absolutely crazy. I was talking to somebody that they go and try to break some of these people out of the sex slave trade game, and they're former like paramilitary, like they were, but they say that's what it takes because especially overseas it's so well organized that whether it be Russian mob or whatever that does it, they have guys that are, you're not getting a ragtag bunch of dudes that don't know how to use guns. I mean, they have an army waiting for you, protecting and making sure you don't break these people out. So it takes an army and well-trained paramilitary fighting paramilitary, and they have fortified locations and things like that. So it's
can you imagine?
That's what they're up against. So yeah, a lot of former paramilitary guys will volunteer to go over there, and these kind of missions you don't even know about. You want to talk about an amazing special because they're like they don't really have. You can't sanction it as the government or anything,
and you can't promote it or talk about it.
It's so renegade.
Yeah, so it is. So groups secretly will fund these missions for these guys. 10 or 20 of them will go over, and it's tough trying to get into the countries and things like that, and they know where they are, but they're in for a serious gun battle.
Oh, I would love to see these guys take down other bad guys. The satisfaction of taking down some of these dirt bags has got to be so rewarding.
Yeah, but it's like Taken, where he goes in there and you've got a whole warehouse of
Meredith in the chat room's got a good point. Castration should be brought back.
Amen.
I mean, if you are a rapist and you're hurting children and women or anybody, if you're hurting anybody like that, you don't have a right to have a working dick anymore.
You're right. Chemical castration. You make them take the pill, and that's it. Their dick falls off.
Yeah.
I mean, I am totally cool with that.
Me too.
It seems to be sensible.
It's
it really
sensible.
does. Yeah.
It would maybe stop this epidemic.
I don't know if it would stop it, but it may
deter
slow it down.
It would stop
somewhat.
that person. I think that's the thing. Okay.
Yeah, it stops the person for sure.
Right. Your day of victimizing other people is definitely over. So, so it'll be interesting to see what happens. A couple questions here about the show. Wanted to get to from Carly. So I've been listening since elementary school. Now about to graduate college.
We old.
Kind of catching up on some stuff. Obviously, over the years, I've missed a couple shows. I wanted some clarification on some stories that you guys reference pretty often. One, the story of Kevin leaving his son at the gym. How did this happen and when? Colin, he was probably...
He was your first son.
You forgot which kid you left at the gym.
I'm doing that thing, yeah.
Kevin, you're not helping your case.
Yeah, they're all the same, Just little mouth breathers, Yeah, Colin was probably about Cannon's age now, probably 10, 11, somewhere around there. And yeah, I went to a small little kind of like a boutique type gym at the time. And so my wife had been like, hey, I got to go run an errand. Will you watch Colin? And I was at the gym. I was in my routine. And I'm like, yeah, sure. So he went, it was in another room. It was like in the back of the gym. He had the TV and was able to play around on some stuff that they had back there. Like I said, there's maybe 2-3 other people in the gym, being a smaller kind of thing. But I was just in my groove. And sometimes, like, when you work, your mind's just swimming because you're just like, and I'm disoriented. Grab my stuff, get out of the house. I go home, put my phone down, I lay down. So I'm just worn out from the workout. And then, messages. And then, the queen's like, where's
Where's one of the children?
Colin he called you. He left you a voicemail.
Yeah, because I put my phone down. I put my phone away. I'm just laying out. So I'm like,
I sent that kid to voicemail.
I didn't know what was going on.
So
I didn't recognize the number. Yeah.
You leave him and you send him to voicemail. What a dick.
And so, then finally I get up, I check my phone. It's like, you have 12 new messages. Like,
Oh.
hey, Dad, you left me at the gym. I'm like, oh, geez.
You played the one
I guess.
voicemail back at Wild 95.5, and Colin was so polite. I mean,
He
hey,
is.
Dad,
yeah.
If you could you please just come get me? You left me at the gym.
Yeah,
And me
he
and Virginia
wasn't
couldn't stop
he's
laughing.
such a good kid.
Oh,
Yeah.
he's such a sweetie in that
He is
message.
Very
He is.
polite. I remember
He's-
I cut his hair one time, and the whole time, thank you, Jason, so much. I really appreciate it. Like, I love manners on kids.
He is a very manly kid. Also, does the Queen really not ever shower? I'm surprised, as you are such a germ freak. Yeah, no, it's really rare. She doesn't really shower. She has her wet wipes. In fact, somebody sent her the other day on a tweet. They have now these body wipes. It's kind of like a wet towel that just wipe your body. And Queen's like, brilliant. All right. Got it. I love it. I don't know if water falling on her head throws her off. I don't know what's going on unless she's got like a sensitive scalp all of a sudden.
It's still probably the most popular question I get asked, whether if I'm at Publix or if I'm out somewhere. Someone will say, so honestly, the whole thing with Kevin's wife, it's part of it's a radio bit, right?
People don't believe it.
They don't.
No, it's true.
They
It's,
really
it's
don't believe
dumbfounding.
it.
Like nobody gets it, and she has no shame in it. You can't. Trust me. We try to shame her all the time, especially myself and Caitlin. She's like, I don't get and she's like, no, I'm fine. I'm good.
No, she really does not get.
She does not care. You can't. No, I mean, you can't embarrass her about it. So that's why I blast her all the time. Trust me, it doesn't do a thing.
She came into the podcast and she wiped the dirt off of her leg, and then
laughed about
showed
it.
the camera
Yeah.
and laughed.
Yeah.
She can't be taking it that serious.
No, she does not give two fucks. You can't. I mean, she's shame proof.
And I get why people ask about it, because it is unbelievable.
Yeah, and she just, I mean, she shrugs her shoulders like, yeah, what's the big deal? I don't get it. I'm just like, you're like
Unfazed.
I mean, just by you bringing this up, you've kicked it back out. I'll get more questions about this.
unfazed. It's crazy. Yeah, she just goes and once a week she gets her hair washed. And the other thing I couldn't believe, it's unreal. I'm gonna take it to a whole new level.
Okay, I need
What?
it.
Tell us.
I didn't realize this until just last Saturday. She comes out and she's like, I got my Qtips. I looked at them like, boo. I'm like, wait, what is that? She had 4 Qtips that it looked like they were so much earwax. It was so gnarly.
Okay, you're making my stomach flip.
I'm like, wait, what is that? She's like, well, because he's washing my hair, I get the water down my ears, so I bring Qtips and I'm there just clean. I'm like, how does this guy still agree to wash your hair? So she cleans her ears while she's sitting in the. I mean, it's so disgusting. I'm like, now you.
She cleans her ears while he's washing her hair.
Just do. And I'm like, why is this guy still cleaning your?
Who is this guy?
I'm like, he's a guy from Turkey. So I don't.
Poor son of a bitch.
She's got to bring in a third world nation
No
hairdresser
Yes.
because Americans
No,
won't
Americans
do it.
won't do it.
Oh.
Maybe it's not rare in Turkey. I don't know. So she's got a Turkish hairdresser that somehow is unfazed by her cleaning her ears in the chair.
Wow.
It's unbelievable. I'm
do-
like, that's so gnarly. Like, I can't even deal with
I
this.
have known you for 15 years, and I could listen to these stories. I can't believe these stories.
I couldn't believe it either.
They never get old.
She keeps taking it to a new level.
Yeah, she always steps it up.
These are the grossest Q-tips I've ever seen in my life.
Okay, now I got to check what the chat room's saying because they always got an opinion.
I was just dumbfounded.
Meredith wants to know why can't she do her own hair? Why can't she shampoo her own hair?
I don't know.
Huh.
That's just what
I think
she
she
does.
likes to go for a blowout. So if the girls know what this is, like you go and you get they'll wash your hair and then they'll blow it out for you, and it looks way better than you could do it. And you're not necessarily going there for a haircut or any dye or anything. You're just going to have a blowout in style.
Yeah.
Erica wants to know, how do you sleep in the same bed? Can you smell it? Can you smell her?
No, and that's her argument. I mean, she really does, because she's always spraying, like she calls it her magic spray. She's like, look, I'm clean. She has like this, and she just sprays it around, and she doesn't stink. She doesn't smell. I mean, honestly, if you didn't, especially after she's had her hair blown out, you would never know that she never showers, and that's her argument. She's like, I use the wet wipes to clean the important areas and wipe them down.
Someone in the chat room said, unplug the TV, Kevin, and tell her filthy ass to shower. Like that scenario we
Like
did
the
today.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
That's
I know.
so funny.
Seriously. Yeah, it's crazy.
Fascinating, though.
Yeah. I know. So that's kind of...
It's so fascinating.
The queen is just a layered onion.
Yeah, it's never boring. You're just
Never.
always...
And I only ask questions because I'm curious. It's never to be disrespectful. I never want to act like I'm being disrespectful to the
He's
queen.
no dummy. He don't want to get on the wrong side.
Hell no, but I am. I mean, you bring it up, so I figure you're cool with talking about it, and you'll take questions on it.
No, it's pretty amazing. Yeah, you're just like, okay, yeah. And you ask, and she's just like, no.
People are like, does the queen get mad? Like, no, she does not get mad when Kevin talks about it.
No, you cannot. It doesn't faze her. And you could go up and ask her, and she just, she'll tell you all about it.
What's your problem with it?
What do you want to? It doesn't. There's no shame. There's no embarrassment. There's nothing at all with that. How did Virginia and Panda get together? Did Jaybird actually set the witch up with his longtime friend? And also, why do you call Panda Panda?
I did set them up. Mm-hmm. They were both talking to me, side conversation. So what's up with that? And I knew something was going on, that they were attracted to each other, but they didn't want to come out and say anything. So matchmaking Bird made some shit happen. Okay. I'm not off on that.
No, we met at an event, and I just thought he was lovely. And
you loved his hair, I think.
I loved everything about him, his personality. I just wanted to get to know him more. And so, yeah, Bird was the middleman, and I was asking him questions, and Bird was like, wait, why the fuck are you asking me so many questions?
I knew what was going on. I saw the whole thing. I quarterbacked the whole thing, Kev.
You did.
And we call him Panda because he was talking about Chinese food one time and talking about the Panda Express. And you know me, I'm snobby. I'm like, Panda Express is not Chinese food. And then so I started making fun of him and calling him Panda, and then it just kind of stuck.
I thought it was because he had Sleepy Panda face.
Yeah, then I called him Sleepy Panda face when I saw the next morning when he sent me a picture of him in bed.
Oh, do you remember?
Panda was making fun.
Do you remember the bed pictures? Like the model pictures he would send her. But it was so full of like this longing love for Virginia.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had such a field day looking at that. That's when we did the Sleepy Panda face song.
Yes, and the T-shirts. Remember?
We had a shirt line.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Well, we know how to milk the cow and then really kill it.
Yes, we do.
And I forgot to include the epic fight between Virginia and her ex-mother-in-law. How did it start and what happened?
Oh, I think I've told this before, but
yeah, she just wants the quick
version.
A little bit of champagne. Everybody had a little bit of champagne. It was the holidays.
And she critiqued you as a mother, didn't she?
Yeah, she was saying that I was doing something wrong. But, I mean, this was just... She had been telling me I had done stuff wrong for a long time. This is the mother-in-law that... She moved all my furniture in the whole house away from the walls and went behind, like, the sofa. I went behind the chairs and, like, cleaned the baseboards, and she saved all the dirty water. And then when I came home, she, like, shoved it in my face and told me, this is the filth in your house that you're raising your child and your family comes. I'm like, bitch, you moved the sofa and went behind it. And I had a housekeeper at the time.
She didn't ask she just did it. Oh, that's such a move.
Because you know if you go behind somebody's sofa, you're going to find dust bunnies.
That is such a move to get in your... just
totally.
To get you so upset.
And she just kept ribbing. And then one day she charged at me. And I'm sorry. If you come charging at me...
Like, how did she charge? Can you kind of show me? I'm you.
She put her head down like a rhino. And she had her arms like this.
She did the windmill.
So she did the windmill and the rhino together. And you don't put your head down and charge somebody because all I did was just clock her once in the face. And
just one.
Did she go down?
One and done? Was it a
don't
one and
take
done?
your eye off my fist or you're going to have it in your face.
Did she go down?
She went backwards and her husband caught her.
Oh my! What a scene!
Oh, it was a mess. God. It was a disaster.
That's pretty impressive.
I've heard that story 11 times, but I'm there. I can see it.
It was awful. But I mean, you know, I'm not the instigator. She came at me, and if you come at me, I will finish you.
True. Okay.
You finished. Finish her.
Finish her. So there you go. Hopefully I answered your questions. That's what this is all about. Got anything else you ever want to know, you let us know. Mail at kvjshow.com. That's it. All right, y'all. Have a great Tuesday. Talk to you tomorrow. Goodbye.
Cleveland Clinic, Florida provides individualized treatment plans for excellent outcomes of health problems ranging from the most common to the most complex, even in cases considered untreatable by others. Cleveland Clinic, Florida. Every life deserves world-class care.